How we reflect the greater light of God is one of the mysteries examined in the Sacred Mirror series. Consider our material existence. All of the elements of the cosmos and our physical bodies were forged during the Big Bang and subsequent supernova star explosions over billions of years of cosmic evolution. The atoms in our flesh were minted in the stars, as is every plant and animal, rock and ocean. Each living creature is nourished by the sun's energy stored in the chlorophyll of the plants that we eat. There's a glow to all life because the sun shines on us and inside each of us. In addition to our material body made of star stuff, there are etheric, astral, psychic, and spiritual light bodies shining in layers of energetic atmosphere around and through the physical body. Visible to psychics and seers, the light body spans the spectrum of our being, from a subtle bioelectromagnetic field close to the skin, to the chi circulating in the meridians and points, the kundalini forces circulating through yogic centers and auric radiances reaching far beyond our physical body. The light body is a recurring archetype in the history of visionary art. Ancient petroglyphs show solarized figures with halos and symbolic rays of light emanating from the body, ubiquitous in shamanic and sacred art. Appearing in the earliest icons of Hindu, Buddhist, and Christian art are portrayals of halos, auras, chakras, all manner of glowing life energy that, through paintings and sculpture, make the subtle visionary worlds visible, symbolically merging physical and spiritual domains. Examining sacred figurative art, we see that holy people are resplendent with glory. One of the most striking and well-known examples of the light body in Western religion and art is the Transfiguration of Jesus Christ. At the top of the mountain where Christ went to pray by himself, he was followed by some of his disciples who witnessed him, glowing like the sun, and conversing with prophets Elijah and Moses. In Christian teachings, the Transfiguration is a pivotal moment, and the setting on the mountaintop pointed to the place where humanity and divinity meet, the meeting place of the temporal and eternal, Jesus as the bridge between heaven and earth. My Methodist upbringing brought me into contact with this supernatural moment of mystic fusion when Christ displayed his holy presence. Because Christ's light body is a recurring image in the history of Western painting, this was my introduction to the depiction of a mystical experience. Similar halos were earlier painted around Buddhist and Hindu luminous beings shining with enlightenment. All of these icons symbolically fuse the light of spirit with the human form. My earliest public talk was in 1978, part of a performance with Allison called Life Energy. And I shared research into the subtle energies by the alchemist Paracelsus, who used magnets for healing, and Anton Mesmer, who called the vital force animal magnetism. In the 19th century, Baron von Reichenbach investigated the glow around living things and crystals, and he called it the odic force. In the 20th century, the psychiatrist Wilhelm Reich investigated and named the subtle force orgone energy, a universal energy, both cosmic and sexual. As part of the gallery installation to stimulate awareness of vital forces, I drew charts portraying the Western and Eastern ideals of life energy. One was of the nervous system, and the other was the subtle energy system. The audience was invited to stand before the charts and reflect on their own anatomy, both physical and esoteric. Based on the success of the charts, Allison recommended creating detailed paintings that invited the viewer to mirror and identify with a comprehensive map of body, mind, and spirit. Allison later titled the series Sacred Mirrors. With figures painted in an ideal form, the artwork was always intended for healing and transformative contemplation. One of the unique features of the Sacred Mirrors are the 3 light body pieces, showing a progression from an X-ray view of the physical body, interlaced with the psychic and subtle energies, toward a flowing spiritual energy field, and ultimately the universal mind lattice. Well, it's been 45 years since Allison and I had that simultaneous psychedelic mystical experience on June 3rd, 1976. I've recounted our story in detail many times. We became one with an infinite web of light bodies who were all shining fountains of love energy outside of time, beyond birth and death. We were each able to make drawings of this same space when we had returned. This experience changed the focus of our art toward transcendental light and infinite interconnectedness. After displaying my painting of our experience, many reached out to share how the universal mind lattice resembled their own near-death or psychedelic experience. One of the cases with the most striking resemblance to our account was the case of Victor Solo, who was clinically dead for 23 minutes as he was rushed to a hospital after a heart attack. Here's the story of his experience. For me, the moment of transition from life to death, what else can one call it, was easy. There was no time for fear, pain, or thought. I was moving at high speed toward a net of great luminosity. The strands and knots where the luminous lines intersected were vibrating with a tremendous cold energy. Then, I was in the grid. The instant I made contact with it, the vibrant luminosity increased to a blinding intensity, which drained, absorbed, and transformed me at the same time. The nature of everything had changed. Words only vaguely approximate the experience from this instant on. The grid was like a transformer, an energy converter, transporting me through form and into formlessness, beyond time and space. Now, I was not in a place, nor even in a dimension, but rather in a condition of being. This new I was not the I which I knew, but rather a distilled essence of it, yet something vaguely familiar, something I had always known, buried under a superstructure of personal fears, hopes, wants, and needs. This I had no connection to ego. It was final, unchangeable, indivisible, indestructible, pure spirit. Remember that beyond the struggles of our life, we're all beings radiant with the light of immortality. shine on, dear friends.